You think it's just a video. But what if what you're feeling right now was a sign? What if this person you can't forget wasn't just a crush, but divine writing, not perfect, not obvious, but aligned, destined? Do you doubt? Do you want answers that no one around you really understands? Then listen carefully, because if Allah sees something in them that you yourself don't yet see, it might be your heart that He's preparing. What if, deep down, it was already them? But at the right time, not now. Do you want to know if it's a dream or a direction? Keep looking. What you feel is not a coincidence. It's an inexplicable trace. There are things you feel, but you don't even dare say out loud anymore, because you've been taught to doubt what you feel, to believe it's just emotion, to distance yourself from your own heart as if it were incapable of perceiving what the eye cannot see, but yet you felt it. That calm, that gentle weight in your chest. Not a passion, not an obsession, not a fire, but a silence, a peace, a fragile certainty that returns again and again. You think of this person, and it's not attraction, it's a familiarity, a resonance, as if your soul is saying, I've met them before, somewhere, before here. And you tried to turn away from it. You tried to cut that thread, but that thread doesn't run through logic. It runs through the invisible, through this world that exists between silences, between the invocations you never dared to utter, but which Allah heard nonetheless. It's not that you're making it up. It's that you feel a writing, and sometimes Allah writes on the heart before writing on destiny. He inscribes a tenderness you don't understand, a bond without explanation, a name that remains when everything else fades. And then you begin to wonder, why does this person remain in my heart when there is nothing concrete? Because the heart doesn't react to appearances. It reacts to what is pure, what is true, what brings light. You're not dreaming. You have a feeling. Because some connections aren't there to fill a void. They're there to awaken your soul, so that you understand that Allah doesn't show you random faces, that He doesn't attach you without reason. Perhaps you don't meet this person to unite with them. Perhaps you meet them to unite with God through what they make you feel. What if this sacred attraction was a test, a call, a silent direction? What if it was the beginning of an answer you've been searching for months? Not an external answer, an internal answer. Something inside you knows. You've always known it, but you needed to be reminded. To the untold story. You watch them from afar. They smile. They love each other. They move forward. They seem blessed, chosen, protected. And you remain in the shadow of your own story. Not because you don't want to shine, but because for you, loving, it's never been easy. It's always been a silent struggle. You move forward blindly. One step of faith, two steps of doubt. You wake up with hope, you fall asleep with longing. You pray. But sometimes you don't even know exactly what to ask for anymore. And what no one sees is your quiet sacrifice. These invocations you launch into the dark without naming anyone, but where your heart knows very well who you want to protect. You're not just looking for marriage, you're looking for a blessed union. You want something that will bring you closer to Allah, even if it costs you forgetfulness, patience, or silence. And no one will tell you about that. No one will publish the nights you cry without tears, the days you smile without strength, the decisions you make not for your ego, but to preserve the purity of this fragile bond. even if it's not yet real. You chose not to send that message. You could have. But you were afraid of sullying something sacred. You chose silence, out of modesty, out of faith, out of love. A love that puts Allah first, even when your heart wants to cry out. And while the world moves fast, while everyone is showing off, getting involved, getting married, you are moving forward in the invisible. You are building in secret. You are nurturing a relationship that doesn't yet exist, but which is already alive in your invocation. You are living a story that is not seen, that is not told, but which is recorded line by line in a book that leaves nothing out. Because He wrote it long before you felt it, long before you understood. You think you're waiting for someone, but in truth, perhaps it's Allah who is waiting for you. He is waiting for you at a certain level of faith, a certain threshold of trust, before opening the door to what you keep asking Him for. 3. But why is it so difficult? Have you ever wondered? Why does it take so long? Why is it so heavy? Why does every step towards them feel like a door closing before you even knock? You don't ask for much. You don't want a fairy tale. Just clear direction, a clear sign, relief. But everything is blurry. One day, it's obvious. The next, it's distant. Sometimes they speak to you, sometimes they disappear. Sometimes you feel them close in your prayer, and sometimes even Allah seems silent. And then you get tired. Not physically, spiritually. You cry, but even your tears no longer calm you. You speak to Allah, but you no longer know whether you're asking or complaining. You move forward, and then you fall back. Again. And you ask yourself the question, if it's really them, why does it hurt so much? Why does your heart feel like it's wearing thin day after day, as if it's carrying an expectation it no longer has the strength to hold? And then, you forget one thing. It's not your story, it's Allah's. You live in seconds. He orchestrates eternity. You see what eludes you. He sees what would destroy you if you had it too soon. Maybe they're the right ones, but not at the right time. Maybe a blessed bond becomes poison if you grasp it with a heart that's not ready. So He slows down, not to punish you, but to protect what you don't yet understand. He doesn't say no. He says, not now, not in this state, not with this heart. But your heart, it doesn't know how to wait. It beats strongly. It believes strongly. It hopes strongly. And it burns inside. And yet, you continue. You don't give up. You suffer, but you refuse to turn your back on what you feel. You pray, even when you no longer fully believe in it. You are patient, even when no one sees what it costs you. You step aside, you adapt, you forgive. But Allah doesn't look at the list of everything you do. He looks at why you do it. He looks at your intention. The seed that no one sees. The secret fire that you feed with broken invocations. The shaky but sincere faith. And that's it. That's exactly what He listens to when all else is silence. 5. What if I was wrong? What if I was wrong? What if everything I feel was just a projection? A hope too strong, an attachment too quick, an emotional mirage that I fed with my prayers, without Allah ever promising me anything? What if this person was never meant to come into my life? What if, instead of being a sign, they were a lesson, a detour, not a destination? These questions, you've already asked them, and you've sometimes been ashamed of having asked them. But Allah never asked your heart to be perfect. He just asked that it remain sincere. You have the right to doubt. You have the right to interrupt yourself, to question yourself, to pray the same prayers 1,000 times, changing the words for each sujood. But the real question isn't, are they right for me? It's, am I becoming someone who deserves an answer from Allah? Because too often, we pray for someone to come into our lives, but we forget to ask, am I ready to bear what this person expects of me? Allah doesn't give a light to someone who chooses to extinguish it. He doesn't entrust a heart to someone who will turn it into a battlefield. And He doesn't bind two souls together to distance one from Him. So maybe what you're experiencing isn't rejection, it's not failure, it's not even punishment. It's a realignment. Perhaps you were building a project, while Allah wanted to build a heart. Perhaps you were looking towards them, while He was discreetly calling you to look towards Him. And it's hard, yes. It's painful to back away when you thought you were getting closer. It's painful to give up, even for a moment, on someone who gave you hope. But you know what would be worse than being wrong? It's reaching the end of the story and realizing that you've asked for everything except Allah. If this message spoke to you, it wasn't my words. Perhaps it's a reminder, arrived at the right time, exactly when you needed to believe in it a little longer. Remember, Allah sees your heart. He sees theirs too. And if He says, keep going, is not to wear you down, is to build you up. Because the right person at the right time, with the right faith, it doesn't fall from the sky. It has to be earned. It has to be prayed for. And above all, it has to be waited for. So share this video with someone who's also waiting. Leave a comment. Do you feel like this person is the right one, but the timing is holding you back? And above all, subscribe so you don't miss the next reminder. Because sometimes, a single sentence can reconnect you to what you thought was lost. And if you've stayed this far, it's no coincidence. It might be a sign. 4. He saw something you didn't see. Imagine a garden, a vast, almost infinite garden, extending far beyond what your eyes can see. Every prayer you pray, every decision you make, every sacrifice you offer, it's a seed you plant in this earth. You often look at this earth. Sometimes it seems dry, lifeless, as if nothing grows, as if everything you do is in vain. But there is someone else watching, someone whose vision is not limited to the surface. Allah. He sees beneath the earth. He sees this invisible, fragile, tiny, but living seed. He protects it from the wind that could break it. He waters it when you no longer have the strength to believe. He nourishes it while you look on in despair. This seed is your hope, your budding love, your faith that wavers but does not die. And He doesn't stop there. He also looks at their heart, the heart of that person you carry in your thoughts. He sees what they go through in silence, the struggles they hide from the world, the wounds they keep silent, the battles they wage against themselves. Allah sees if they are ready, if they are worthy. He sees if they deserve the light you carry in your soul, and if that light is pure, if that heart is sincere. Then, gently, without fanfare, He begins to weave a path between you. A path you don't yet see. A path that seems invisible to the world. A path that is sometimes slow, sometimes winding. But it is a path He guides, because He has seen something that you have not yet seen.